Hey everybody, so welcome to our exam review. I'm going to go ahead and go a few problems at a time. I have it printed out. If you're able to print it out, awesome. If not, it's not a big deal. You can still see it online. So I'm going to begin with the first three problems from Unit 1 because they are all about properties and just naming what's happening. So first of all, problem number 1, which property is illustrated by this equation? So if you notice, there's a 1 being multiplied in there and nothing changes. When nothing changes through multiplication, all right, multiplying 1, that is the identity of multiplication because you're not changing anything. So the identity remains the same. So you could also hear it as the multiplicative identity or the identity property of multiplication. If nothing changes by adding a 0, that is identity of addition. So if nothing changes, that's identity. It's either multiplication multiplying 1 or addition adding 0. Right, next, number 2, commutative property. The commutative property is when you change the order of things because you commute from one location to the next. So you all have to check the order. Which one of these problems does the ordering of the terms change? So if we look at F, we've got 2x squared 4x 6. 2x squared 4x 6. So for F, the group changed, which is associative, but the order did not. So it's not F. If we look at G, 2x squared, 4x 3, 4x, 2x squared, 3. Oh my gosh, the order changed. Look, these two switched places. So we are looking at G. This is commutative because the order changed. All right, if we look at H, all right, we already answered it, but let's go ahead and look at H anyway. We had a 3 on the outside, and it is no longer there on the right side of the equation. When that happens, that is distributive. Distributive. And then if we look at J, we have two things that multiplied together to become a 1. Anytime you multiply something by another value and it creates a 1, that is the multiplicative inverse. All right, if you create a 1, that is multiplicative inverse. If you create a 0, that is additive. Additive is when you create a 0. All right, that's it for my first little video. 3 problems, 3 properties. Well, more than 3 properties. Oh, I didn't do 3 problems. Hang on, let's get the cat out of the way first. Shoo. All right, everybody say hi, Ethel. And then let's look at number 3. What property is illustrated here? Well, in this property, I swear. What property is illustrated here? Well, we have basically distributed, but on the right-hand side. So we have distribution again, distribution. And we have the star of the show, the cat. All right, so there we go, first 3 problems, properties. So far we talked about identities. Identity is when nothing changes, so that's either multiplication by multiplying a 1 or addition by adding a 0. We talked about when the grouping changes, that's the associative property. If order changes, that's the commutative property. And then if you create a 1, you've got a multiplicative inverse. If you create a 0, you've got an additive inverse. All right, there we go. First video done.